Should the New York Giants trade for running back Najee Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers? We're going to break that down on today's show as our friends over at Bleacher Report came out with a trade idea, and they think Joe Schoen and Brian Dable should pull the trigger. But before I give you my thoughts, explanations, and everything in between, I want to hear from you in the comments section. Pick a running back. Which of these two backs would you rather have on your football team? Is it option number one, the guy that averages 4.5 yards per carry, has 16 touchdowns in the last 3 years, 64 rushes of more than 10-plus yards, and 36 rushes of 15-plus yards? Or is it option number two, the running back that averages 3.9 yards per carry, 22 touchdowns in the last 3 seasons, 72 carries of more than 10-plus yards, and 30 carries of more than 15? Option one, option two. Let me know your thoughts. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it as Bleacher Report came out with a trade proposal that would send draft picks from New York to Pittsburgh and Najee Harris from Pittsburgh to New York. I do think it is important to state that the Pittsburgh Steelers have declined the fifth-year option for Najee Harris. He has done 3 years in the league. This is his last year under contract, which means he is set to become a free agent in the spring of 2025, which I definitely think would go into the negotiation process and really overall the thought process of if the Giants should or should not make this trade. Bleacher Report thinks they should, and this is why, saying the team added Devin Singletary via free agency. Eric Gray is in year 2, and Joe Schoen also added depth by selecting Tyrone Tracy in the 5th round this spring. However, there is no more Saquon Barkley, and continuing to explore talent via all avenues would be wise of the Giants general manager, especially if the Giants want to remain competitive in 2024. A Pro Bowl selection in his rookie campaign, a fresh start for Najee Harris, could provide the breath of air he needs to work back to his high-level production. And the only thing I would somewhat push back on there from Bleacher Report is get back to his high-level production. He's been the same back that he was in the SEC, that he's been with the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3 seasons in the NFL, 3 straight seasons of 1,000 yards. He's been a productive player in this league since he's been drafted to the last time he took off his helmet in the season of 2023-2024. 26 years old, and he's got elite size, 6'1", 242 pounds, one of the bigger backs in the NFL. He breaks tackles. He runs hard through the trenches. He knows how to set up blocks. Doesn't necessarily have that top-end speed and doesn't give you much creativity or juice in the passing game. But if you want a downhill runner that's productive in the red zone and can pick up those tough yards, Najee Harris is a guy that should be on your short list. This was the trade idea that Bleacher Report came up with. Najee to the Giants, with the Giants giving up a 6th round pick in 2025 and a 4th round pick in 2026. So you give up 2 mid-round picks for a 26-year-old running back. Would you make this trade? I want to hear from you in the comment section. If you were Joe Schoen and Mike Tomlin and the Steelers gave you a call and said, yo, we'll give you Najee for 2 mid-round picks, a 6th round in 2025 and a 4th round in 2026. Will you do the deal? A for accept, D for decline. I'll share my thoughts more on this topic coming up in a second. But first, I need you to be ready to go for week 1 and get your Malik Neighbors jersey today. It's chatsports.com/neighbors. That's chatsports.com/neighbors. That link will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. Order it today so you have it for week 1 when we take down Patrick Seatman and the Minnesota Vikings. When it comes to that trade, I am going to decline it for honestly a long list of reasons. But the reason that sticks out to me the most is I'm not giving up 2 mid-round picks for a running back that's 26 years old, going to be 27 next year, and a free agent. Did we not just learn that Joe Schoen said he doesn't like paying running backs to get closer to the age of 27? That he says the data shows you that their production and their top speed fall off? Why would you let Saquon Barkley walk in free agency to turn around, to sign Devin Singletary, to draft Tyrone Tracy in round 5, then trade 2 more mid-round picks to trade for Najee Harris, and then give him a contract extension? I say this with all the respect in the world. This is dumb as hell. Why would the New York Giants do this? I mean, look, Najee's been good. There's no doubt about it. 1,200 yards his rookie year. 1,000 yards his sophomore season. And this past year, another 1,000 yards. But you know what's concerning to me? Only one time in his NFL career has he averaged more than 3.99 yards per carry. One time has he averaged more than 4 yards per carry. I don't love that, to be quite frank with you. I don't love it at all. The thing I do love is 17 games, 17 games, 17 games. He's been dependable. And that's something that the Giants like. Smart, tough, and dependable. Najee Harris has been that player. Remember at the top of the show when we asked you to pick a running back and we showed you this stat where option 1 and option 2? Well, option 1 is Devin Singletary in the production he's had in the last 3 years. He's had more 15-plus yard runs. The guy averages half a yard more per carry than Najee Harris. So I know a lot of people are like, well, option 2, Najee Harris, he has more 10-plus yard runs, and he also has more touchdowns and more carries. Well, duh, he's got more carries. That's why he's got a little bit more production in some of those aspects. But I'll take the guy that is going to make less money, has less miles on his body, the guy that's already on your team, and averages 0.6 more yards per carry than Najee Harris. Devin Singletary is one of the more slept-on players in this league. Not calling him a star. Not calling him a superstar. But when you talk about production, when you talk about a player that does their job and they show up every single Sunday, that is Devin Singletary. 3 straight seasons of more than 800 yards. 4 straight seasons of more than 4.2 yards per carry. He's only missed 1 game in the last 4 years. And you know why he missed that game? Because the game got canceled because it was the Damar Hamlin game. So he's been there every single game like Najee Harris. The carries, not even close to what he has, so he's got more tread left on the tires. I think he has better vision than Najee Harris. I think Harris breaks tackles a little bit better. We talk about downhill, getting the tough yards, being available, and also having the ability to pop off 15-plus yard runs. Singletary does that better than what Najee Harris does. And why am I giving up 2 more draft picks for a 26-year-old running back? Giants used a 5th-round pick on Eric Gray in the 2023 NFL draft. The Giants used a 5th-round pick on Tyrone Tracy in the 2024 NFL draft. So we're going to say F that 5th-round pick from 2023, F that 5th-round pick from 2024, and that 4th-round pick we got in 2 years, and that 6th-round pick we got this year, we're going to trade that for Najee Harris, which ultimately leads to a cancellation of 4 draft picks and the $7 million, $6 million you just gave Devin Singletary. I know it's July, and you're probably coming back from a long weekend, but the boys over at Bleacher Report need to do a better job than this. On top of the fact that Giants don't have that much draft capital to just be shelling it out all willy-nilly. Yes, you have a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 5th-round pick, but you don't have a 6th-round pick. So why are we just giving away draft picks? This team is far away from competing with the top dogs in the NFC. They need to continue to add young, cheap, affordable talent, and you do that in the NFL draft. You don't give up multiple draft picks to an aging running back who is about to be a free agent. And to be honest with you, I have confidence in this running back room. I know they lost Saquon Barkley. I get it. But let's be honest. Was Saquon Barkley really a difference maker for the Giants this past year? No. Was he when they made the playoffs? Absolutely. You know why? Because he's the cherry on top. And the Giants, they don't have the ice cream right now to put the cherry on top. They got to build the ice cream. And this is a running back room that I think could do a decent job when called upon. Singletary's a tough runner. We don't know what Eric Gray is. We don't know what Tyrone Tracy is. Sean Corbin can fill in as your 4th back or a practice squad call-up back and forth from there from week to week. I know a lot of people hate on this room. Not a lot of professional carries. You lose Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley was the face of a terrible offense for 5 years. That's not the flex that you really think it is. That's like being the face of something terrible is not good. If he was so good, he would have elevated it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little pissed off because the New York Giants said that Saquon Barkley is a better Giant than Hakeem Nicks. That's total BS, and anybody that came out and voted on that and put Saquon Barkley above Hakeem Nicks, who's 3rd all-time in most receiving yards in a single postseason stretch, you should be fired. Grade the Giants running back room for me, though. A, B, C, D, or F. I know, I get it. People are worried. We don't have Saquon. What are we going to do? Da, da, da. Well, we were bad with him. We can't be much worse without him. And I like Singletary. Smart, tough, defendable, and he's wearing a good number. Maybe he wears it a little bit better. Running back is one of the least worried positions. Running back is the one of the positions I am least worried about. I don't worry about our running back position. I worry about our right tackle. I worry a little bit about our tight ends. I worry about our offensive line, defensive tackle number 2 next to Dexter Lawrence. I worry about our second boundary corner opposite of Deonte Banks. I don't worry about our RB room because Devin Singletary is going to prove a lot of people wrong this season. Make sure you are following me over on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG. Hit me up at @MarshallGreen_.